Hello everyone and welcome to the Ninjatrader Ecosystem webinar room. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Tiffany Sampson and I work for Ninjatrader in our Denver office. We have a very special event for you today with Charles and Gary of Viper Trading Systems. I'd like to mention that it is important to understand that there are substantial risks in trading commodity future contracts and forex. You should carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you and will depend on your specific circumstances and financial resources. It is possible to lose all funds deposited within your broker and could even incur losses beyond these amounts. Please inquire at the link provided. For more information or for a copy of the FTC full risk disclosure. Also, please remember that these training webinars are not a solicitation nor recommendation, but simply educational in nature. This presentation is presented by Ninjatrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader's trading software. Brokerage-related questions should be directed to NinjaTrader Brokerage directly at the information provided. With new tools added nearly every day, Ninjatrader Ecosystem is home to hundreds of apps and services. You can quickly and easily find the tools or services you're looking for with a simple keyword search. You'll also find information about upcoming webinars and on-demand video archive to view event recordings at the link provided. Also, if you're active on social media, please ensure to like or follow us for the best way to get updates on all things Ninjatrader Ecosystem. Ninjatrader is always free for advanced charting, strategy backtesting, and trade stimulation. To ensure you are the latest version of Ninjatrader and pick up a free live data trial, please visit the following link. You can purchase or lease Ninjatrader at the following link. And if you are just getting started with Ninjatrader, we offer free live training on a daily basis. You can view a schedule of weekly webinars at the following link. We're very excited for this unique event in which Charles and Gary will demonstrate how easy it is to simply plan, locate, and execute trades. Thanks again for your attendance today, and without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the Ninjatrader webinar room, Charles and Gary. Take it away, Charles and Gary.
Thank you very much. Welcome everyone to our Ninjatrader webinar. We're very pleased to put this webinar on for you. All right, well, we've got the slides on the screen, so we'll go ahead and go through them. I've introduced us as ViperTradingSystems.com. We've been around for right at 10 years. Our website is ViperTradingSystems.com. All right, I'm going to go to the next slide and let you know. Basically today, if we can get everything going, we're going to be talking about uptrends, downtrends, dealing with ranges, and we're also having an after party drawing for a lifetime membership with Viper Trading Systems. How many of you, just a curious show of hands, I saw when the question came in about what brought you to the webinar today, how many of you would like to trade full-time futures? We open a trading room 5 days a week from 7:55 Central Time until 10 o'clock in the morning each and every day. Lots of people, good. Okay, well, write this down, ViperTradingSystems.com, and then put /NinjaTrader. Tiffany just put that in the log. Now that will get you into our after party webinar in case we can't get this going here. Okay, now right here on this slide, we were founded in 2009. We've been around for right at 10 years, and we've got traders literally all over the world. You could pretty much name any country and we've got people in there. And so therefore, since we're basically a United States company, we have traders all over the world, and they have to learn our system so that they could trade at different times of the day. Because when we open our room, obviously, they may not be up. It might be the middle of the night for them. Okay? So, we're all about training. We believe in teaching people to see the trades so that they can take the trades themselves. But in our webinars, we will actually go over exactly how to do just that. All right, now notice on this example here on the slide that's on the screen right now, you'll notice that our software is designed. We have blue bars, we have yellow bars, and we have red bars. And we actually have these to where you can box these in, and we have a trading system that you can actually box these in, and you can actually take the trades. All right, and this is showing an example of an uptrend, and you'll notice that our indicator on the screen is actually a lime green color, and we will actually be able to show you in the room live, with flashing alerts, for instance, that will show you where these trades are to be taken. And notice in an uptrend, you'll have a green background, you'll have blue bars, you'll have our green stealth and midband, which will explain what those are, and then your flashing long trade alerts will actually flash, letting you know that the retracement is complete. Okay, this is an example of an uptrend in our Viper software. I'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Now, notice that on the opposite side of it, our background turns red, our bars turn red. We have a magenta or a red colored midband, and this tells us where to get into these trades based on retracements into this midband area. Okay, so we actually draw on our box, for instance, in the morning in our trading room, and we show people just right at where to take the trade. And we train them to see these trades in our webinars. We have webinars Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and we will teach you how to see these trades in real time. Okay, so with red background, red bars, red stealth, and red midband, or even magenta midband, you're actually looking for short trades. Okay, now we have indicators that will also let you know when things are range bound. You'll notice that you have kind of a striped shirt effect on the screen here on the chart. And basically the definition of that is in a range is a lack of trend or it's sideways. And we have a different way that we trade that. We also teach our people that a range must be at least 20 to 25 ticks before you even want to trade that range, because you want to scalp it for around 10, 12, 15 ticks. And you can do that by learning our software and seeing right where these trades are. Okay, now I don't know if Charles was ever able to get back in, but let me go ahead and go over just a couple of other things. Marcus, on a question that you have, what kind of question do you have? I'd be happy to answer it for you.
Gary, by the way, I am back. I was able to log in. So.
All right, Charles, are you able to get into the screen sharing? We apologize to everyone. This was not something that we had any control over.
Yeah, there was a technical problem when I was ready to go, and then as soon as I hit the mic button, it booted me out. It just booted me out. Yeah, so my apologies, everybody.
All right, I'll go ahead and turn my mic off real quick, but just to let everybody know, be sure and click on that link that says vipertradingsystems.com/Ninjatrader, and go ahead and join us in our next webinar, and we will be definitely totally prepared, because this absolutely is the webinar that we use every day of our lives in trading. And you'll also have a chance to get a live license. And if you happen to be with Viper for 5 years, and by the way, we've got people that have been with Viper for all of the whole time that we've been in business, and the savings would be just phenomenal if you win that grand prize. Because at just the normal price times 12 times 5 years, you're talking about $50,000. So, and that'll include all updates, training, everything. It's a complete membership, but you won't be paying a dime. All right, so that link is in there, and I'm going to go ahead and turn my mic off and turn it over to Charles.
All right, Gary, testing audio, testing audio. Everybody hear me okay? I'll try to start this screen sharing app. My apologies, everybody. I just got booted out. I don't know why. Okay, I'm going to try to get over here. I know, Gary, thank you for going through those slides. I'm going to try to get show some charts from today. I know there's been, it's hard to sort of encapsulate, the trades on PowerPoint slides. It's I think once you see
Charles, are you able to get the screen share? There we go. I see it.
Okay, sound, audio check, visual check, everything look cool? You good? Okay, good. All right. So before I jump in here, I want to ask a quick question. We got a very good turnout, so welcome everybody. My apologies again for the technical problems, but we're good to go now. How many of you actually trade futures markets right now? And if you do, if you can, just take a minute and just type in what instruments you like to trade if you are looking at trading futures, or you're sort of dabbling into it, or maybe you're looking into it or starting it, or maybe some of you have been trading futures for a couple years and trying to get make some money. Oh, okay, we got some crude traders, CB, ES, gold, excellent. E-mini S&P, Dow, fantastic, excellent, good news. That's fantastic. Now let me explain what you're looking at here. Now Gary, I think, sort of gave you an overview of how this works, but this is from this morning, and I have 3 charts here. I have ES, the E-mini S&P futures on the right here. I have YM, the mini Dow futures in the middle, and then I have gold futures over here to the left. Now what's really nice about this, and there's a reason I put all 3 of these charts together, is because these markets tend to have correlations. So the first thing you can notice here is that right after the open, now I'm here in California, so this is all Pacific time. So 6:30 Pacific is when the equity markets start trading. Now that on this chart would be right here, right about here. And notice how Gary on that last slide talked about the striped shirt effect when you're in a sideways market. So that's precisely what you had into the pre-market session right here on YM. Here's an example right here of sideways market action, right? And then the market opens, and you can see here that it was weak. Notice how it was not able to get back to the top, to these swing highs here. It started to punch down like this. Now, let me show you how we do this. And I'm going to show this on ES2. Let me scooch over to ES2 and show this how they correlate. All right, so the pre-market session on ES looked like that. So obviously the two are very tightly correlated, YM and ES. And so here you can see the sort of range-bound, a little bit of chop you had going into the 6:30 open, which was right here. But notice how, like on same thing with YM, you were getting a series of lower highs and lower lows. Now we have a tool, and we're in the process of porting this over to NT8 that runs an NT7. In fact, it's almost ready. In the after party, we're actually going to show the first version of it, where it's a little thing over to the right. It's called Object Trader, and that's why we engulf these areas with these boxes. Okay, so that's actually a tool, semi-automated strategy that we're running. And so what happens is you engulf this area. In this particular case, with the background green just after the open, you might have had it go both ways, but you were filled short on the close of this bar right here. You see that line? Now the way we like to do this, the way the strategy works, is pretty straightforward. Can you see this white dashed line down here? This is the pre-market session low. Okay? So when you put 2 lot on here on the first entry, your first target is right at there, and we have all this in the live room. I took this with a 4 lot this morning, so this is legitimate stuff. I'm not making any of this up. These are trades that we take and call out live. So there's your first target right there. On YM over here, you can see that your first buy to cover on that first target was right here. See the swing low? Right there. So what you do is then you engage a trail on your second lot. You engage the trail, and this allows you to take advantage of this very precipitous 200 tick sell-off on YM. And so when you bottom out down here, notice how you come through this mid-band right here. So this is the final stop out that we called out. This is where I got out in the live room. Now notice over here, I'm talking about the short still. Filled short here at, I believe the fill was 39 1/4, 38 3/4. We pop down, we take the first contract off, we trail the stop. Notice how you have this sort of sneaky snake red line kind of following the market down. That's called stealth. And then notice how you have a thin red line here called line 2. Now when you're in a sell-off, notice how those markets closely follow the market down. So we just come a few ticks off of that, fading it as a trail stop. And that, of course, was the second lot was taken off here. So the first leg down on ES was somewhere right around 24 ticks, depending on your fill here. And by the way, you can see very clearly here that your initial stops are 12 ticks above your entry. So now the nice thing about OT, when you engulf it with a box like this, is that it automatically puts that initial stop 12 ticks up. So this is your risk. Did I lose audio? Am I still coming through? Somebody said they lost audio. Am I good? Audio check.
Yeah, you're coming through fine, Charles.
Okay, that fellow must have lost connectivity. If for some reason something blanks out like the AV or the audio or whatever, it just probably just log out and come right back in and you'll be good to go. Yeah, so your initial stops are placed, so your fill's right here, and 12 ticks above that is your initial stop. That establishes your risk. In this case here, you felt no heat, heat being where a market pulls against you, right? Thing went down, moved perfectly in your favor. Now, how else can these correlations help you? Let me show you. And this is so powerful, and very rarely do people talk about this. Let's look at the timing of when YM broke here. Look at the time down below. See, it was about 6, well, actually, technically it broke here. You could actually have been short from that box over here. But let's just say you got in a little bit later here at 637 on your fill. Now let's go back and look at where 637 was on ES. Where was 637 on ES? 637 was still way up here. See it? Now ES did not break until how many minutes later? 48. 10 minutes later. 10 minutes later. So how is that? Well, actually, technically, what you could have done, which I didn't do, I got in where I showed it, you could have engulfed this with an object trader box and then filled short here. Because with the YM breaking down, that was portending the break on ES. And you see this almost every single morning. YM will lead ES, and sometimes by as much as 5 to 10 minutes. Now you can notice over here, let's scooch over to the longs on gold. Notice how gold was starting to put in a series of higher lows over here to the left. So if I scrolled left, I'm not going to do it, but over here to the left, you can see there was very much range-bound activity over here. Okay, if you go pull that chart up and look at it, it was also in a little range trying to decide which way to go. Now, most mornings, not every single morning, you know how markets are, right? But most mornings, if the equities are going down, gold is going up. Now look at when gold broke up. You had one break up here at 634, so that break actually preceded the YM breakdown by 2 minutes. And then where it came out of the box was here at 640, 642, 641. So the leader of the pack, obviously, on the breakdown was YM. Soon after that, we got the break up at 41, 42. Well, if you boxed it over here to the left, it could have been as easy, close to 35, which is very close to the YM breakdown. Now notice what happens here. Can you see the blue line to the left right here? This was the swing high of the morning. So it's the opposite mirror image of when you're trading short, when you're long, right? So in the case of the short, we're going down to hit the low of the morning and then trail the stop, right? You see that. Now over here in the case of the long, what we do is we take the first contract off right at the high of the morning, right here, and we engage the trail. Now in this case here, now see how gold had some precipitous pullbacks? And notice the volume down here down here. See how and when it was moving up, most of the bars were 1,000 lot passing through, and they were all up in blue. Can you see that? Notice, let's contrast that with, and let's put this in perspective. You see all this red selling here? These are all sell contracts going through. They're algorithms from the big boys just pumping sell orders. This 1 minute, just to put things in perspective, had almost 20,000 sell contracts go through. Now, if you don't, in these bars right here, each one of these puppies right here to the left is like 10,000, 12,000 sell contracts. See that? That's what algos are pumping. They are taking this market down hard. Now look at YM down here too. Not quite as much as ES. The volume and liquidity you get on ES is the highest of any market, typically 1 million to 1.5 million contracts. You're going to see more like 100 to 200,000 contracts on OIM, and maybe even less of that on gold, as much as 70 to 90,000 contracts. So if you look over here on these buy spikes, or these buy programs, so there's 1,000 gold contracts in a minute. Now notice what happens here. If you go to the right, can you see how the bars start turning red? Now what is that? What's going on here? What do you think's going on here? What are these red bars, these red volume bars telling you up here? In fact, let me help you out. I'm going to advance this chart a little bit more on gold, and let's see what gold starts to do after the trade finishes. Notice these huge spikes in sell contracts coming through. It's profit taking. That's exactly what that is. Sandra, Francis, James, everybody, that's profit taking. So all the market participants who were buying long from these huge buy spike contracts going through here are now taking profits, just like we did. Same thing we're doing, right? Now notice what happens here. Pulls back, gets a higher low, takes out the midband. Now let's go and see what happens on YM and ES. What happens to ES after we get out of this trade? And this is when you're in these long and short trades, when you get near the lows and they start to bounce, notice what happens here. Let me blow up ES so you see how this works. Watch. See gold coming down? See gold coming down here? See it coming down and the sell contracts pumping through? Look to the right. What was starting to happen on ES right over here? See it? Right at 742. Look at these huge 12,000 buy contract spikes coming through. What direction was ES starting to go after the buy to cover? Up. Let's take a look at YM. What was YM starting to do? Up. So that's how most of you know, of course, you've been trading for any length of time. You know how that's how rallies start, right? That's how rallies start. You get the buy to cover. The buy to cover starts, and then the rally starts. So what direction should gold be going? Down, like that. See the spikes in sell contracts coming through here? Yeah, that's what that is. So you're selling, 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 and then the blue bars are the buy to covers in the case of the downtrend, right? In the case of the uptrend, the buy contracts are the blue bars, and the little red ones are profit taking. So that's how that works. All right, listen, due to me coming in late, I'm going a little bit over here. I think the plan is to kick into a very quick question and answer period for the last 10, 12, 15 minutes here. So please feel free to type in all your questions, and we'll try to answer them. Anything that didn't get asked, go ahead. Please go ahead and put it in. And by the way, everybody sees in the link there from Gary, we do have hold on.
Yeah, Charles, while you're checking on that, I went ahead and put that link back in, vipertradingsystems.com/NinjaTrader. And be sure and sign up. I'm watching the sign-ups. There's a bunch of them coming in. So our after-party webinar is going to be huge, and we're going to have a drawing for a lifetime license of Viper Trading Systems.
We have that drawing. Make sure you come to that after party. It's going to be pretty cool. We do have, Saif, the questions are coming in very precipitously, so I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. If for some reason in the next 10 to 12 minutes I can't get to a question, please just go ahead and type it in again. There was a question about track records. Yes, we do. Unfortunately, due to compliance reasons, we cannot discuss money or dollars in this webinar. All the content you see with the slides and everything, the charts and all that, has all been pre-approved. So we can't do that, but in the after party, we can get into some detail about, you know, more of the numbers and the dollars and what the track record and how that all works. So I'm going to have to wait for that one, okay?
Yeah,
we're showing
Charles V.
Yeah, go ahead. What?
Yeah, Charles V is asking what are the hours of our live trading. We open our trading room, Charles V, at 5:55 Pacific time, which is, of course, 7:55 Central time, Chicago time, and we open the room for 2 hours and 5 minutes each and every morning.
We've got a question here. I'm here again. A lot of questions. We're just going to try to get through as many as we can. Can you trade all three at the same time? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, those boxes that I showed here, they're very quick and easy to put on the chart. For instance, you could very quickly draw on that gold box there. Enabled OT would take it. The short on YM, you draw the boxes I have shown right here. Semi-automated system. Once you engage it, it puts all the targets and stops, manages the trade for you. And then and there's adjustable settings. You don't have to trade 2. You could trade 1. You could trade 4. It's up to you. How often do we get stopped out on trades? Very, very small percentage, Dave. You know, I don't know if you mentioned, I've been trading since 1995, so you're looking at 24 years of experience. I probably have, I don't know, easily over 20,000 hours of chart time. And so it's pretty rare that we get stopped out, but it happens. And you know, oftentimes where it happens, truth be told, is around the open. See right here, the open on ES, how you're kind of whipping around a little bit and the market's trying to figure out where it wants to go. We found that that's a lot of times where you get bit. So, you know, you really want to wait maybe 2 to 5 minutes, sometimes as much as 10 minutes before the market direction kind of reveals itself. And that's why we use these correlations. Now, in the room, we also show the Russell, RTY. Now, the Russell at the time this happened might have headed up, I think YM broke first, but the Russell was right up there. There was a beautiful box on Russell, and it broke, and it just tore like 100 ticks straight on down. Yeah, so to answer your question, see how you're bouncing around before the open? This is where you're at risk of getting in a hole before you even start. And you really don't, if you're used to doing that, you know it's terrible to dig yourself out of a hole right out of the gate. Yeah. Now, we do also obviously have these indicators on 7, and we'll show them on 7. We mainly use them on 8. We love 8. 8's great since they released it, and that's the 8 charts you're looking at right here, but it's also on 7. Yeah. Does it work on the Australian index? Yes. Yes. In fact, a lot of our traders, if you look at the breakdown of futures instruments, there are equity or currency futures, 6E, the euro, 6A, the Aussie. They're really proxies for the Forex market, although you can put these charts directly on Forex markets and trade them, just like I have shown here. The system will be exactly the same. The main primary entry indicator is the swing levels. I mean, the background colors and the bar colors and the mid-band colors, etc., all come into play, particularly when you're strong up or down trend. I think that's pretty clear. In the case of the uptrend, they're blue, and you have a green background. And by the way, I show these secondary boxes for a reason. I want to quickly speak to that. We have other types of entries, and I'm not, due to time constraints, I can't show all of them. But can you see right here where you pull back in just underneath this stealth line and just underneath this green line 6, and it formed a little bit of support and an uptrend line? That actually is a secondary entry. That's a secondary entry. Primary entry was down here and here. Although if you miss that, we use these pullbacks as a chance to get in. So what happens is people get long, long, long. There's profit taking, pulls it back. That's called a retracement. You could box that in, and that's a good re-entry point. You catch the second leg of the trade. Let me see. Let me go back up. Can't get in the after party link. I don't know what.
Well, Charles, I don't think you can click on the link while it's in the chat box there. If they'll just copy that down, it definitely works at vipertradingsystems.com/NinjaTrader.
Do you have a discounted annual subscription? The vendor, if you're interested in an annual thing, you could call us and we can, people have asked about that and we have made some exceptions and set that up in some cases. So I guess the short answer is yes. 4 range bars instead of minute or tick. We found a long time ago, we used to have this program. I'm sure you see this a lot out there. I'm going to trade a 1 minute, I'm going to take guidance off a 5 minute, and then I'll look at a 60 and a 15. Next thing you know, you got 72 charts up trying to figure out Shamus and all this kind of stuff like that. You don't really need all that. The nice thing about the 4 range bar is the size of it is limited to 4 ticks. If I put a 1 minute chart up here, you'd find it over here, you'd see a whole bunch of little tiny little bars, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get like a 25 tick bar. And then chop around and chop around. And so what we found is it's not very conducive to trading or the indicators. The entries are not very clean or clear. And so when we went to range bars years and years and years ago, we find that it really defines the entries and exits very nicely. So we've stuck with 4 range for almost the beginning. Is it effective during the Globex sessions? Well, you know, you can trade outside of the active hours. For me here on California Pacific time, you're talking about 6:30 to 1:15 p.m. Pacific. You can do after hours trading. If I was to expand this out and show, there's only a couple of problems. The spreads can be a little bigger. You can go from 1 tick spreads to 2 or 3 ticks on some instruments, and liquidity might not be very good. You would find if I scrolled over here and looked at the volume on these charts, it would be very low. So you get some slippage. So that's the other problem.
Charles, one question coming in.
Yeah, go ahead.
From Dave H. Dave H is asking, can you change the colors? Is it pretty much customizable? Dave H., on your question, it's not a black box system. We actually have multiple time frame type of bars. You can customize those to your liking. Plus, you can change any colors on the chart that you like. You know, for instance, some people, you know, green might be a little hard for, you know, people to see, or maybe red. Just change those colors to whatever you like, and then just save your template. NinjaTrader has one of the finest platforms available to where you just simply save your template and then just load it on your charts. When you're with us or even on the trial, we send you a template, so your charts are going to look exactly like ours. So when you come into the room and you see those trades, you know, just start watching some of our webinars and see how we do this. Because we do this every single day of our lives. We use exactly the same charts. We don't deviate at all.
Right. Yeah, that's, I think, one of the strongest things that we've had is the fact that, you know, is some folks you talk to or other places you go, you know, one day you're doing this, the next day you're doing that. Oops, this should have been a short. Oh, no, it's really long. You know, we are consistent from day to day. You're going to see the same thing. And that's why I think we're, you know, pretty successful at doing it and have a good track record, is the fact that we kind of stick with what we got. Okay, James got his link to work. If you had, it will work on Forex, I can tell you that. On crypto, if you had charts that could load in Ninja that would look like this, then you can put the templates on and use it for trading crypto. Yes. Let's see here. Pop up. What are the common trading times? Well, Gary, he probably mentioned I noticed some of you are crude oil traders too. If you go back here to 6 o'clock, he opens the room actually at 5:55. So on this chart here, that would have been right about in here somewhere. Now he shows all four charts. He shows ES, Russell, RTY, gold, and crude. And you all know that the crude pit open is at 6 a.m. Pacific, so that would be right here on the crude chart. I don't have a crude chart up, but it would be right here. And so when the crude pit opens, sometimes you get some really monster moves. They can, you know, crude will kind of settle in and then it'll burst and it'll run like 50, 60 ticks. And Gary's really good at catching those, catching the beginning of those big runs. Sometimes you get a sell-off, the inventory number's real bad. We trade the inventory on Wednesdays at 7:30 on crude. Of course, the other thing you have to be careful for, and we're very conscious and mindful of this with our traders, is the news events. We use a site called Forex Factory for our financial news announcements, the news events. So for instance, tomorrow, here's an example. Tomorrow morning you have non-farm payroll at 5:30 a.m. Pacific before the market open. And what you want to do, that's a pretty significant news event. And then we have ISM at 7. So if on Forex Factory it's shown as a major impact news event, you want to stand down. You really want to wait a minute or two or even 5 minutes till the market kind of sorts itself out, and then step in and see what kind of trades to take. So for instance, yesterday was the Fed. The Fed cut a quarter point yesterday, and so the market went crazy. If you go back and look at 11 o'clock, the news bots glammed onto that and boom, just drove the equities down hard. And then next thing you know, they bounce and rebound and end up, you know, Dow ended up, what, 150 points yesterday.
Hey, Charles, Tiffany said you can go ahead and show that link, and I'll answer Jack's question about like a one-time charge. Just give me a call on that, Jack. And Charles is going to go ahead and show that link, vipertradingsystems.com/NinjaTrader. And you'll also see our contact information on the right. Be sure and contact us if you have any questions at all. Our after-party webinar will start promptly in 30 minutes from now, and we'll go over quite a few things. And we apologize, obviously, for the little mess-ups at the first and everything. But I can tell you this, we've been a vendor now for 10 years at Viper Trading Systems. We are there for our traders. You know, we're one of those vendors. We don't just sell, you know, a bunch of indicators and strategy and then just call it quits and, you know, count the money. We're not like that. We have 3 webinars every single week to train people how to use them. We have a trading room 5 days a week, open 2 hours a day, each and every day. We have a contact link that you can get a hold of us by phone, email, Skype, and we even do TeamViewer support. So we're extremely easy to get in touch with and also to help you. Now this is that link that we've been putting in this chat box the whole time. It's vipertradingsystems.com/NinjaTrader. Scroll down just a little bit, Charles, and see that little blue box there? It says sign up for your chance to win a lifetime license subscription with Viper Trading Systems. Now, if you go to our join link, you'll notice that we actually have a $3.99 per month price to be in our room, have all the indicator strategies and everything else. Now, don't get discouraged on that, because we actually do offer discounts on that for our people for first time, and we can even keep you on that perpetually also. But with this, if you win this, let's say that you happen to be one of those members that have paid $3.99 all the years. 5 years is $50,000. That's a tremendous amount of money to get something for free. And we're going to draw in that next webinar in 30 minutes for one lucky trader to win a subscription with us. And believe me, we paid a fortune for our scripts over the years. And you'll get it. You'll get every update. You'll get the trading room. You'll get the webinars. You'll get all the training. You'll get everything to do with Viper Trading Systems just like a member, but you won't have to pay a dime. So yeah, sign up on that link. You know, we're going to draw it, and somebody's going to win it.
So here's the thing. I see a couple of, if you click on this link and for some reason it doesn't work, or you put your name in here and it doesn't go through or whatever, just give us a call. This line goes right directly to Gary. Plus he has Skype. If you have Skype, the handle is Viper Trader. Viper Trader right here. And he'll be there. There's some other questions on time. So to answer the question directly, we have the room open for 2 hours in the morning. Gary opens it at 5:55, so right around 6 a.m. And then we normally wrap up around 8. Now, most people trade, most of the activity occurs between 6:30, and about 8:30. First 2-3 hours is when you want to just get in there. Liquidity is good. Volatility is great. You want to just nail 1 or 2 or 3 good trades and be done. Now, you can trade after hours. We have, in fact, a lot of our traders that are with us are overseas in Europe, England, Asia, and what have you, and they trade the Asian trading session, which would start 5 o'clock my time. So you can trade the currency futures, the Aussie futures, yen futures, and then, of course, once midnight comes, that becomes the European session. So you'll see the volume pick up on like 6E, the Euro, 6B, the British Pound futures, and then, of course, the Forex pairs that correspond with those. And so a lot of people use this to trade overnight or pre-market sessions. Let's see here. Any other questions? Trade room, do we choose the tickets to trade or tell us what to trade? Well, we show the 4 charts. It's like a quadrant thing. In the upper right-hand corner is ES. In the left-hand quadrant is Russell. Below that is gold, GC. And then to the right is crude. Now, having said that, we have lots of traders that trade other things other than that. For instance, NASDAQ is a very popular one. NQ, NASDAQ futures, $5 a tick, December contract, just like the other equities. And you can use these charts as proxies for NASDAQ. So you might be in the room watching YM, calling out shorts, or watching the Russell calling out, taking shorts on ES, and you can look at NASDAQ, and 9 times out of 10, it'll follow what the other equities are doing. So in this case here, you'd be shorting NASDAQ as well as these other equities. Excuse me. What else? Time frames? Eastern? Well, no, I'm in California here, so this is all Pacific time. So right now for me, it's just turned like 2:05 in the afternoon.
Charles, I went ahead and put a link in just in case somebody's not getting, because basically if you sign up for that right now, the email service will be sending you an actual follow-up page, but this link right here will get you into it. Just simply click on it. It's at GoToWebinar. So, we're going to have that drawing just shortly after we close. Bear with me a second. I see that didn't get all of that. I'm going to put it in one more time.
Saif, while Gary's doing that real quick in the live room, how the calls work. So what will happen is, the way it works is people all over the world that subscribe to our service dial into Gary's computer in Oklahoma, and that's where he presents the screen, and I dial in as a presenter too, of course. And then you'll be looking at these charts, and what will happen is there will be lines placed on there where support and resistance levels are. particularly if it's around a mid-band like this, like right over here. And then, a lot of times Gary will actually draw the box that we take right around where support and resistance levels are. And we will explicitly say what we are going to do. If it comes to, in the case of this, if it comes to the mid-band around 40 and breaks, having watched what YM had already done and having knowledge that gold was heading up, that's when we said we will short that. So we make it very clear and explicit. So there's no ambiguity as to what the trade entry, where it's going to be, and what the trade type is going to be, long or short. Okay? Let's see, any other questions? I think that might do it. Tiffany, thank you so much for having us. Apologize for running over. I'm glad we got the technical thing worked out. Turned out okay, I think.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Charles and Gary. And I do apologize for that technical issue that we had at the very beginning as well. I would like to give a special thank you again to Charles and Gary for a great presentation. Everyone here in attendance today will receive an on-demand recording of today's event. So just keep an eye out for that email. Ninjatrader Ecosystem is pleased to sponsor these weekly vendor events as a value-added service for our clients. If you find value in these events, we hope you'll attend them on a regular basis. We would like to remind you that the information provided this was of Viper Trading Systems and not of NinjaTraders. All information was for educational purposes and should not be construed as trading advice. Again, we appreciate the time you spent with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you in future webinars. Happy trading from all of us in Ninjatrader Ecosystem. And again, thank you so much, Charles and Gary. And I will go ahead and add that link in one last time so everybody has that. That is going to be where you can sign up and participate for the free drawing for that lifetime license key. And it looks like Gary also provided the after party or after webinar, which I have included again as well.
Tiffany, have a great day, everybody. We'll see everybody at the after party. Have a great one. Take it easy. Bye now.